What was the hardest addiction you managed to overcome? Story 1. Smoking weed. I'd been wanting to stop for almost 10 years. I was offered to participate in a program. Most of the other participants were there because of crime or other drugs. We rode our bicycles from the middle of Denmark to France and up Alpe d'Huez in 10 days, so about 160 kilometers per day. The last time I smoked weed was about 5 minutes before getting on the bike. Haven't smoked since. That was back in 2019. The ride down from Alpe d'Huez was incredible. I've never gone anywhere near that fast on my bike before. My max speed was almost 68 miles per hour. Story 2. I've overcame porn addiction, which I was addicted to. Since I discovered it, I would watch it too, 4 times per day. It ruined my sex life and my relationship with my exes. When I stopped completely, I noticed a spike in energy and focus. I told my ex I wanted to stop, so I can focus all my sexual attraction to her, and she told me, how can someone get addicted to porn? Story 3. Opiates, typical story. Started with oxys in the late 90s because, quote unquote, they're not addictive. That was the BS the doctors were pushing. Quickly descended on a degenerating downward spiral, which led to heroin, shooting deal-a-dids, stealing money from loved ones, homelessness, and jail. Been clean 7 years now. Most of the people I knew from then are dead now. I thank God every day. I don't know how I survived or why I did. Just trying to be a better person day by day. Story 4. Kicked fentanyl and meth in great part to a rediscovery of psychedelics, particularly magic mushrooms. I was a low bottom addict. My addiction took me to living in stolen vans in DTLA. Ripping newspaper machines out of the pavement, W chains to drill into them for the change. My crack dealer used to call me Charlie Buckets because I would buy these huge cakes of crack and other drugs for huge 5-gallon Home Depot buckets of quarters. I'd roll up in the hood and play Let's Make a Deal so I wouldn't have to go to Coinstar. I would do this until I went to prison, abscond from the gate. Rinse and repeat. Shrooms finally relieved that obsession to use something recovery groups. While helpful, never did for me. It also killed my gambling habit at the same time, an unintended yet very welcome side effect lol. Went to Vegas this past November and had to force myself to play craps. Walked away after maybe 20 minutes. Just didn't feel the drive like I used to. Story 5. Food addiction. Food being a necessity didn't make it any easier. Coupled with the fact that not eating huge amounts of it'll almost always get you barked at. Accused of having a different eating disorder because people still can't come to terms with the fact that brushing the eating disorder involving eating way more than a human should doesn't make it any less of an eating disorder. That is so prevalent. TLC has been practically making it the channel's personality year after year. Without issue. Story 6. Kratom. Lots of people don't know about it. It's a powder made from the crushed leaves of a tree that grows in Southeast Asia. You mix it with hot water and drink it. It's disgustingly bitter. But it literally gives you an opiate-like high like you just took a painkiller. You can't really OD on the powder if you take too much. Your body will always throw it up. So this made it seem safe to me. In the US, it is legal and unregulated. Sold everywhere as a plant specimen that is not meant to be consumed. Like on all the bags, it says it's only supposed to be a botanical specimen for people who collect plants. This prevents anyone from suing the people who sell it. I started taking it once a day around 2019. I knew it was very addictive and figured if I only take one small dose once a day, it'd be fine. I stopped taking it in April 2023 to try to lower my tolerance so I could take a lower dose and save some money. I was spending about $100 a month on it. I was immediately hit with anxiety, depression, insomnia, heart palpitations. I could no longer smoke marijuana. It now made me anxious and made my heart pound. Also, could not use any nicotine or caffeine. Even sugar would make my heart pound out of my chest. Or if I ate too big of a meal, it was excruciating. I suffered these symptoms for 45 days before they even started to improve. By month 3, I felt good. But I hit month 6 and the heart palpitations came back. And they have been persisting for 3 months now, getting just a tiny bit better each month. It can take over a year to totally recover from kratom withdrawal. I've had 3 EKG exams done on my heart, got blood work done at a cardiologist. Nothing seems to be out of the ordinary, but something is wrong. I just want weed to feel nice again. I can only have a little bit now. If I overdo it, my heart feels tight and hurts. This only started as soon as I quit kratom and hasn't let up for 9 months now. Story 7. Caffeine. I already don't drink, don't smoke, and have no other addictions. I have drank and smoked in the past, but it's never been a habit. My habit was caffeine. I gave up caffeine on New Year's Eve. I'm past the headaches from caffeine withdrawal now. I had a habit of drinking 2 or 3 Monsters per day, and even an iced coffee or soda in addition to all of that. I gave up caffeine when I was pregnant in the past. It was easy to give up then because I had a baby growing in me and had to put the baby first. I went back to drinking caffeine after my husband had a vasectomy. Now that we're separated, my family has been putting me down, trying to make me feel dumb and incompetent, while pressuring me to find a new man and become pregnant. I was a valedictorian in high school, a federal scholarship recipient in college, and worked a career within my major field of study. Between 2012 and 2017, they have been so cruel in how they're treating me. I know I won't receive recognition for quitting caffeine. They didn't even celebrate my degrees when I graduated college. The only time they ever treated me well was when I birthed a son in 2012. I am just keeping this newest victory of quitting caffeine to myself. I guess they won't care to celebrate that either. Story 8. OxyContin, then heroin, then methadone, then heroin, then fentanyl, then carbs, and sugar. The hardest physically was Fent. I cold turkey from 1 gram a day. Made it 5 days before I got on Suboxone. Overcome isn't really the word. More like learn to live with it. Last year, I had 4 relapses. Last one was 5 months ago though, and I hated it. Stopped to milligrams a day Suboxone, and I had 120 milligrams of Roxy 48 hours later and didn't feel like it was worth it. Story 9. I quit smoking pot around 3 years ago. I smoked a lot daily for about 2 years, in addition to drinking. It definitely took a toll on my mental capability at the time. It turned me into a dumbass. I managed to get myself $10,000 in debt and lose my license before I graduated high school. The last time I got in trouble, the sheriff who responded to the call yelled at me and gave me the boot in my ass I needed. I live in a very small town, and my parents weren't role models, to say the least. And I've known this guy since I was 5. Anyways, 3 years later, I'm in the military and completely debt-free. Story 10. All of these stories makes me realize how fucking boring I am. I just don't have the attention span to try something long enough to get addicted to it. Props to anyone who overcame theirs.